Well, hello everyone. Welcome to a Division 1 matchup, and we are in Australia this time with a matchup between Orpheus and Mr. Blue. My name is Atomo, and I'm joined as always by Calamity. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Australia is known for its little tricks, so to speak. It's not the easiest country, and it is quite large, so you can drop points if you're on the wrong side. So I'm always interested to see how Division 1 players like these two do. If we take a look at their stats, Calamity, Mr. Blue probably having a little bit of the better start in terms of he is just one position higher, but they are very close together.
They are very close together, and it's actually the opposite way around. Orpheus is a position
Oh, yeah,
better.
he is.
The number is higher
Just
for
read
Mr.
that
Blue,
wrong.
yes, but that's not how rankings work. So, yeah, I can understand, though, the confusion because Mr. Blue does have more aces than Orpheus, so it could look like he did slightly better. But yeah, Orpheus is currently ahead by, I think, 2 points, if I remember correctly. That is something that might be reasonably useful in this stat sheet now that I think about it,
Mm.
but it should be. And yeah, I think both of them have had a pretty decent season so far. Neither of them have dropped too many points. And yeah, it is a pretty interesting fight or, matchup to look at because both of them have had appearances in the playoffs before. Mr. Blue was there in season 3, where he lost in the semifinal, and then last season Orpheus was in the semifinal, and both of them actually lost against Raidman
Mhm.
in their respective appearances there. So it'll be interesting to see if this season maybe both of them can make it in and have another attempt at trying to get to that final. Maybe even if they end up in second or third, they could even face each other and would guarantee one of them making it through, which could be cool to see.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think in general, it's a very evenly matched pairing. And I do think, though, that with Australia being very practice heavy, maybe not necessarily in the way that you have to play a lot, but in the way that you have to know a lot of things. So I feel like with Orpheus, as we said plenty of times before this season, he said he wouldn't be practicing too much.
Mhm.
So maybe that is a slight advantage for Mr. Blue in this scenario.
Indeed. Well, let's look at the map. Yeah, it is Australia by /P. Average score just under 17,000. Plenty of locations in this pretty much polygon map. Has been played almost 15,000 times. So our Reddit leaguers have gotten to it, but I don't think we've affected the average score too much given how many plays there are. Unless in a week or so we have put up another 10,000 plays, but I doubt that. So
Yeah.
pretty close to that. Yeah, I think you were right. Mr. Blue probably the one with the slight advantage in the sense that he is probably a little bit more in the space, getting ready, practicing, refreshing his meta more than Orpheus. But I mean, they're both Division 1 players. The odds of a draw, though, especially a high end draw, I think are a lot less likely. If we do get a draw, it will be a really interesting one. 1,000 or so points down the table, I think. So yeah, really interesting to see how this one turns out. So let's not waste any more of your time and let's jump right into round number 1.
hmm And considering your point about draws, I do think like if we're gonna see a draw, it would have to be a fairly simple map for it to happen. Because as I said, because of the practicing situation, if it's gonna be a very difficult map, then I think Mr. Blue just has too much of an advantage. As both of them come up to an airport sign, and this should give both of them, the exact right place where they are.
Yeah,
Interestingly,
820.
Orpheus actually, with his initial pin, just putting it down somewhere in the country based on landscape, I suppose, was very close.
Yeah. Wagga Wagga. Very
Yeah,
interesting name of a city. 9 kilometers away. Airport only 1 kilometer to this. Is Australia in miles? It should be in kilometers.
I, I want to say it's in kilometers, but I
Yeah.
like if you put me on the spot like that, I don't actually know 100%.
Yeah, because England is in miles
Mm.
in the U.S., so I don't know. Yeah, I believe it is. It is in kilometers, but
Let me
so
just
there's
look it
the,
up.
yeah, there's the
Yeah.
intersection. They both got it. It's just about pinpointing down the road to which house they're likely to be nearby.
Little fun fact about these houses: Orpheus is not spotting it, but the house numbers actually are up on the boardwalk.
Oh,
They're painted on there, which I know noticed a bit late, but they are there, so you can tell which house it is. You don't have to count, as Mr.
Yeah,
Blue is doing right
yeah,
now. But
they're both counting.
yeah, you can see it down there at the
Yep.
bottom in in white on
Mm-hmm.
the crosswalk.
And Mr. Blue will guess only 15 meters away, so just one house off. But a perfect score, an ace for him. Looks like Orpheus is about in the exact same spot. He is counting houses as well. Another minute left to go for him, so I don't think he will have any trouble.
Yep.
And as you see there, yep, counting.
And he's going to make his guess.
9 meters away, and an ace for him. So yeah, wow. I don't think you could have asked for a nicer round one in Australia for Division
probably.
1. Yeah, just down the road from a very nice sign that has all the information you need and a crossroad, and then you can just simply count houses or even just look at the number. And
yeah, you even have the big advantage of it being like fairly close to a city that is easily recognizable and not that small. But at the same time, it's not such a huge city that you might be in like a suburb of it where it can again get tricky. And you have the airport, and you have the road names, and you have the house numbers. It's just it doesn't get much more easy than that.
Yeah.
And I did look it up, by the way. Yes, Australia does use the metric system.
Okay, there we go. At least one of the English-speaking countries does. Very nice. Well, let's jump into round number 2 and see if it is as easy as round number 1. We are in a somewhat urban environment. There's a sign not too far away, but I don't think there's a town or anything they can glean off of that. There it is. Adelaide. There we go.
Oh, was it there?
Yep.
I didn't even spot that. But you do have the typical South Australian poles, electricity poles there, with sort of the cement in the middle between like two. I think it's usually rail tracks, like sort of taken off and just put next to it. At least as far as I remember from what I've heard. But those are like probably the easiest poles to remember. And obviously, once you're in South Australia, given how populated this looks, there's not really a lot of options other than Adelaide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't. When Orpheus looked at the sign, it wasn't quite readable, but on Mr. Blue's, I guess, better internet, it did stand out. The far corner, Highbury Rise, a new development, a couple street names, but a little bit too fine of detail to really help you maybe pick out. There we go. That's the sign that we need. Mr. Blue's got a very nice, the A11 and 16 intersection up ahead.
Mm-hmm. And you do actually, on Australian bins, you often find the sort of suburb. Not always necessarily, as someone, I don't quite remember who it was, told me it's usually just the suburb name of, the suburb that takes care of the garbage disposal. So you don't necessarily have to be in that suburb, but you're very likely close to it at least. And that can tell you a lot. And Mr. Blue makes full use of the sign he found.
Yep.
And
perfect at
nice guess from him.
Yeah. But say he also saw Highbury, the neighborhood that was on the development side that Mr. Orpheus saw. And Orpheus, though, has not really seen that A11 and is going to be looking for a little bit different clues to pick out where he is. Let's see if he's going to be able to do it. So far, not quite.
I'm not exactly sure what he's looking for in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a suburb, I would imagine,
Yeah.
but I didn't see him specifically finding a sign with one. So
There was Highbury.
he might just
It
might just be looking for a street name, which.
I mean, if it's
probably,
a major street name, it might stand out like that, but.
Yeah, I don't think he's found the major street yet, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. And with about 10 seconds left, the lacking of that sign is really going to be his downfall unless he just gets really lucky. I mean, he's in the right town. He is not even too far away. That click is actually a really good adjustment. He moves away at the last second. He'll hate himself for that. 4,915 points, so still within 100. So not too bad, but yeah, pretty much a really nice sign for Mr. Blue, helping him narrow down that point. And then, of course, the intersection makes it very simple, and just Orpheus didn't see it. Calamity.
Yeah, and looking at the angry mouse movements of Orpheus in the time between rounds 2 and 3, I can tell you he was definitely looking for Highbury.
Ah, okay. See, then he finally saw it. Yeah, I gotta hate when that happens. Oh, there it is. It just stands out.
Yep.
Right. I swear sometimes that like when the round ends and it zooms into like the pin, it changes what stuff is labeled. Because like I swear I looked at that same zoom level and I didn't see anything. And then
I
this
think
time
it's
it shows
just
up.
you. I think it's just you imagining that.
I
Well,
think it
of
is,
course it
but
is, but
yeah.
yeah, sometimes like what shows up can be really different
Mhm.
at like just one zoom level apart, and it may like not look like you've actually changed zoom level. So I think that's
Yeah,
mostly what's
yeah.
doing it.
Or it's just, your brain finally seeing it and you're thinking, hey, shouldn't I have been able to see that before? But yeah, whatever.
Mm.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for Orpheus there in round number 2, but we'll get into round number 3 now. And he's only 85 points down, so not the worst
Still in
round, not
draw
the end of the
range.
world. Again, an intersection
Yep.
with 2 names, so if they can figure out the neighborhood they're in this urban environment, 3 for 3,
You
they'll
know
get
what
a
PDE stands for? It
EDE.
was on that road name. It was Campbell PDE.
No, I don't.
It stands for parade.
Oh, that's a very Commonwealth sounding kind of road name.
Probably, yeah.
Like
Uh,
way, road, street, and then parade. Very
It
interesting.
did go opposite ways, and Mr. Blue's next to a sign that's just gonna disappear on him as the coverage switches.
Oh, it's the most amazing. Like, yep, sure enough, that sign's gone. Orpheus, though, the one
Orpheus,
who's
yeah.
pretty sure we're in Melbourne.
Ely Road, and the sign 2 kilometers to Blackburn South. And probably a reasonable assumption that Blackburn South would be a suburb, but
Mm-hmm.
he's had troubles finding suburbs before, so.
Before, yeah. There is a little logo on the street sign. I don't know if you can actually read it. We can't. Looks like maybe a horse.
Usually, yeah, usually they're just sort of the logo of the suburb.
Yeah,
So
but if
if
it
you want to
is if
learn
there's a
all of
font on
them,
it, then you could maybe read that. But
yeah, there usually
pretty
isn't.
sure.
There are
Yeah.
some, I think, where there is, but even then, usually you're still gonna need to find a city first. And
There we
I
go.
think, as Mr. Blue finds a sign for the
There is a
26
city.
highway.
City that
What?
way.
Some city, yes.
Yeah.
I think usually you've got other means of finding
Mm.
the suburb quicker. But he knows now that he's at the intersection between 23 and 26. And there is a 23 in Brisbane. And there
Mm.
is a 26 there as well. But doesn't quite match up potentially.
Yeah. That's the thing about those blue number roads. They can repeat on you.
Orpheus found another suburb name, Box Hill South.
Yeah, I think Mr. Blue has seen that as well.
Yep. There he is. He's found the right intersection.
There we go. Now it's all down to there's the parade.
Mm.
Jump back to the start to confirm that is exactly where you are, and that'll do it. 10 seconds left, and Orpheus is going to come up short again with the neighborhood. Just not able to spot
There
it.
is Box Hill pretty big on his screen right there.
I saw it, yeah.
But
Just to his east.
yep.
And but again, he's not too far away. He's very lucky with his pin placements. 4,977 in that one. So only 23 points dropped. But he was just a little bit looking too far west on his map and just missed it when it's to his northeast there again. But yeah, I think Orpheus actually found the good clues first, but it's just Mr. Blue who's a bit faster in finding these suburbs here.
Yeah, I think Orpheus found some usable clues first, but I definitely think the roads give you a much bigger advantage at narrowing it down, because then you're essentially not looking for suburb names anymore, which could be anywhere, but you've got a sort of a clear sign of, okay, you're somewhere here in this specific area where even two of those roads like meet up. So from then on, it becomes very easy. You just got to figure out that, which city you're in. But yeah, Orpheus is still fairly close with his guesses, but I think with that, he just dropped out of the draw range. So he would now rely on Mr. Blue to make any kind of bigger mistake to put him back into the points positions.
Yeah, we'll jump into round number 4 then, and you're right. He is 8 points outside of draw range, so Mr. Blue's got to drop some points, and this could be the one to do it. We're finally on a highway with very weird camera coverage.
Yeah, it is a specific car, one of Australia's very many in all of its national parks, a red one. And it does not appear that either of them know that kind of information specifically from the start.
Yeah, they haven't jumped to the map.
No, so they're just going to be looking for some other kind of information that maybe tells them the park. But even then, it can be pretty difficult to find a national park in all of Australia.
Exactly. It's a pretty big country. There's some islands too you don't want to forget about. And it looks like Mr. Blue is more focused on maybe being outside of a major city.
Yeah, he seems to be looking for something specific. I can only imagine it being Moorabool.
Moorabool, yeah, and he recognized it. Knew it was somewhere around Melbourne down there. There's the river. And now he's got to find the bridge. And the problem is the river is a little bit long. So.
Well, it might be. We don't know just yet.
It's Cooper's Bridge. Yeah, yep. He found a different bridge. So I guess he found a road name. The bridge might have a different name than the road, but
yeah, definitely.
The fact that it says Baker's Bridge Road would lead me to believe that's not Cooper's Bridge, but.
I'm just surprised that he hasn't seemed to zoom out at all to just check how long the river is, because this could be like a 2,000 kilometer river throughout all of Australia, and at the speed he's currently going, he wouldn't be able to find where he is.
Yeah, there we go. Steiglitz Historical Park for Orpheus, but it doesn't appear that he knows where that is.
I think Mr. Blue just went past Steiglitz on the map.
Oh.
So he is now in the right area, roughly.
Sharp road, getting closer, winding. Oh, there.
That looks like it could be the right one that he's currently at.
A major road that would fit why there's coverage here.
Did he go in the wrong direction from the bridge? I thought he went west to get to the bridge. Actually, no, that would then be the right direction.
Yeah, and now Orpheus, with 25 seconds left, will jump into the map looking for where he's got a good instincts. We are somewhere around Melbourne, but the fact that he only has about 20 seconds to try to find a park out of all this wilderness is going to be a little bit hard for him. He's actually going to spend his last few seconds in Tasmania and be way off. 3,704. Another perfect round for Mr. Blue. Not the easiest way to get an ace on that one, Calamity, following the river for about a minute and a half. But hey, if it works, it works.
It does, and I can tell you I spent about 2 minutes searching for the national park and never found it, so 20 seconds for Orpheus, surely not enough time unless he got really lucky. And I did just look up how long the river is, not necessarily kilometers or anything, but it's not too long. It stops not too far away from where Mr. Blue found the right bridge, so probably had the time to look through all of it.
Yeah, and you can see that on Orpheus's screen, the Steiglitz Historical Park is very small. Definitely not something that's going to pop out at you at a big zoom level, so pretty much a very impossible task for him to try to find that one. He was really close, still maybe with a chance, but it is Australia, so I wouldn't count him out quite yet. We have seen some pretty big swings happen in this country. Anything can really happen as we get ourselves into round number 5, the final round. Mr. Blue, though, is on a perfect game, 20,000. Litchfield Park, right next to the map, and this is probably not the round 5 that Orpheus would have wanted if he wants to come back.
Yep, to Stewart Highway. And Orpheus knows where Stewart Highway is, and there is Bachelor.
Yeah. He'll be happy with this. He'll be hoping that maybe this is the one that Mr. Blue doesn't know.
We'll find out.
Seems very interested in this. What's written on the other half of the sign. Not sure if that's meant to be a city or just a bit of graffiti to distract people.
I don't know either, yeah. Who knows? I didn't find any city with that name in
Yeah,
the
that's what I
area,
was
so...
thinking. I didn't think I saw anything like that. So both of them taking a look at that reduced speed turning point. That blue sign up ahead is going to be the clue. Oh, no, it's actually only a camping site sign, so that's not going to be very helpful. And is...
Yeah, Mr. Blue is going towards the right area specifically, though it looks like from how his map scrolling is going, I would assume that as he probably finds Bachelor, it's right there.
There we go.
I would assume that he didn't know where Stewart Highway was, but that he deduced the region where he was based on the landscape.
Yeah. Not too far away. Well, maybe the scale is a little bit deceiving, but in the general vicinity of Darwin in the north, one of the few civilizations, outposts of civilization rather, in the middle of nowhere, in the outback.
Mm.
And yeah, unfortunate for Orpheus, his quick knowledge on this one, he needed the round to be about a minute shorter. And then he would have gotten quite a few points while Mr. Blue was still a bit lost. He'll be 13 kilometers away on this one. I'm guessing a little bit early. 4,901. I think he just realized that maybe pinpointing this was going to take quite a while and maybe not going to be the most important thing. And 100 points dropped is not going to change a whole lot for him.
Made the same mistake that I made there, in that he didn't realize that 2 Stewart Highway meant that, you're not on Stewart Highway, but you're just on a road that would take you there.
It does appear that Mr. Blue has picked up on that. He is guessing a bit further away.
He's now just got to judge the distance to this intersection.
See how accurate he can be. He's pretty much got the win locked up, but this will be... Oh, his timer run out. And... Oh!
Not accurate enough.
Oh, 81 meters. I knew that was going to happen. Like, it's going to come down to, basically at this level, the circumference of your pin could be just 1 or 2 more away, and it would have been enough for a perfect game. But very difficult to pinpoint. And he will really be frustrated that despite winning, he didn't get an extra bonus point for a perfect game. And this one, Calamity had a real shot at it in Australia. That would be something definitely to be proud of.
Yeah, would have been a very nice game. Would have also been the highest score, as far as I remember. Yeah, definitely. There were only him and Raidman who even picked up 24,999 in the first place. So it would have been the best score of the division and would have helped him a lot in the standings. I think he's already in a pretty good position for the playoffs. I don't think there's too much that can go wrong there, because after this week, he'll be 5 points ahead of, 5th place. And, well, there's still a lot of games between people in that sort of range coming up. So I think if he can just keep playing like that, he should be almost safe in the playoffs.
Very nice. Well, congrats, Mr. Blue. You see their final scores. Yeah, 24,999 for Mr. Blue, 23,497, a very respectable score for most people in Australia for Orpheus, but just unfortunately not good enough on the day. Mr. Blue just slightly better, almost perfect in this one. Well, thank you all for watching. If you like this, definitely hit that subscribe button. We've got lots of casts for you to see. And if you have run out of videos to watch this season, don't forget we've got 3 other seasons of Reddit League for you to check out. You can watch all these matchups and all the different maps we have played over the years. And we'll check you out in the next one. We have, I think, 2. We got how many? 3?
We have two more for Australia.
Yeah, 2 more for Australia matchups. So plenty of Australia if you like the country. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.